Hello, good evening. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. I want to share with you today what I have termed why build a business when you can get a good job. Why build a business when you can get a good job? It's one of the statements that we oftentimes hear, or when we started, it's one of those things that we heard. We heard from friends, we heard from family people, we heard from classmates, former workers, former colleagues at workplace. Why do you worry yourself? Why do you bother to say that you want to build a business when you can have a better job with good salary, maybe good prospect to become the leader in that business or in that company? Maybe they buy you a car, give you a house. Maybe it could be a private company, it could be a government company. Why bother? Why worry? Why stress yourself so much to say that you want to build a business? Why? In this life, you have got to have a strong argument to live the life that you want to live on your own terms. In this life, you have got to have conviction. You have got to have courage to at least try to live your dream. Because if you don't build that, society will talk you out. Friends will talk you out. Family will talk you out. And if you want to do anything, it's not just business. It's everything that you have so much. You have desire. You have it in your heart. It's a dream that you have. People will ask you a question. Why do you want to try this? Why don't you just stay with where you are? This job is a good thing. God has blessed you with. Everybody is looking for such opportunity. And now you have it and you say that you want to build a business. A few things that I have learned and a few things that I can share with you on this is that business that you want to build or that business that you're building, maybe it is a way, and it may be the only way that you get to live your passion. You get to live your purpose and you get to live with your gift to make some kind of imprint on this earth. It may be. Not everybody will have that kind of passion, that kind of desire, that kind of obsession, that kind of possession actually, to try to say that I want to build a business. Not everybody. Not everybody will go through that to get to that stage that you can say that I want to build a business. And that statement from people that get you to say that, why worry? Why not take this job? Why do you have such a nice job, such a nice position, and you say that you want to leave everything to go and start a business? It may be because it is, maybe destiny for you. It may be something that if you don't do, it will never leave you. The thing about passion, the thing about dream, the thing about purpose is that it never dies. It will never leave you. You may try to push it down. You may try to fight it. You may try to suppress it, but it never leaves you. So if it is part of why you were here, maybe. If it is part of your dream, it will never leave you. That's why sometimes you meet somebody who has become top CEO somewhere, who has become, they have gone through all kind of jobs and positions with all kind of packages and salaries and benefits, and they still meet somebody doing business and they say that maybe I wish I were you. So it could be a way that you maybe would have to affect the world with your talent, with your gift, with your purpose, with your passion. It may be. So why start business? Why build one? It may be that it's the only thing that you were probably made to do with your life. The second one will be the satisfaction that you get having, the satisfaction that you get when you see the idea that you sat down to pen. You something that came to your mind, you work on it, you scripted it somewhere, you wrote it somewhere, and you put some thoughts, some strategies together, and that idea starts to become a business. The satisfaction that comes from it, it's something that you cannot easily describe to somebody. That you get to see the world from the point of view of possibilities, that anything is possible. Because it's just an idea. You were just talking with somebody and it just crossed your mind that I think I can do this. And then you push your energy there, and after some months, after some years, it starts to become a business. That you start to get maybe an office, you start to employ people, you start to render some services to people. Maybe the satisfaction that comes from it, maybe it could be the reason why you would want to build a business than just staying with a good job. Most people around the world are very much happy and very much comfortable with a good job. Not many would want to worry themselves to build a business. So if you want to build a business, or if you are building a business, you must have some kind of conviction, some kind of persuasions, and they should be strong and solid for you to keep going. And so the satisfaction, there is a huge satisfaction that comes out of it. Even when the business is not even hugely successful, when the business is not that big, the fact that you could come out with that idea, we could come up with that concept, and that concept has become a business that has employed one person, 2 people, 20 people, 50 people. That satisfaction, very few things come close to that. And that thing never leaves you. Every time that you move around and you look at the people who are working, and you see that why those people have a place to work, it's that much satisfactory. You may also have a fair chance to become an expert at something just because you started to build a business. In an area that you start a business, you may end up becoming somebody with some kind of understanding, some kind of knowledge, some kind of skill in a particular field. So maybe it may be a retail business, it may be a construction business, it may be a real estate business, it may be a finance business that you start, mining company that you start, whatever company that you are building, you may become an expert in that. So with time, people will try to seek your opinion, will try to get your thought on some of the things that you do. And the only reason why people will start to look for you, get your thought, get your expertise, call you to do something, is because you decided to build that business. If you had not built that, nobody will call you for that kind of reason. So it could be one of the persuasions that you have to have, that if I get to build this, maybe one day, I'll become an expert in the oil field. I'll become an expert in, maybe I have a fishing company, or maybe I have a cold store, maybe I have an electronic company, whatever field that maybe I process, I have an agro processing company. Whatever that I do, I may become an expert at something. Not many people are expert at anything. And when you build that business, at least somebody will see that you own that business, and they may contact you if they need some kind of information. And everybody wants to be needed anyway. And so if people start to contact you because you happen to have built this company and now you know something, it is gratifying. The other thing is that Africa needs people like you, people who can put their thoughts together to build a business. Africa needs that. Our continent needs that. Our country needs that. So you may consider that as one of the reasons that you probably would want to build a business, or you are focusing on building a business other than just taking a job with a good fat salary, because we need people who can develop businesses. It's about the only way that you create prosperity in any free market. When people can build businesses with the right ethics, the right character, we need a lot of people like that. Or it will be left with just foreigners controlling all our businesses, because your people may not be interested in building any business. They will only be interested in getting nice job with good salary. But every job was started by somebody, even if it's a government job. Somebody somewhere put their thoughts together to create that company that you have a job there. So Africa needs, Ghana needs people like that, like yourself, who are thinking, planning, strategizing, formulating businesses, building, committing their energy, their resources in building a product, in building a service, in building companies, and employing people, giving opportunities to people. Africa needs that. So it may be one of the reasons that you would want to consider building a business, or you would want to consider focusing on building your business. The other thing is that you get to control a lot of things. If there is anything like control, you get to control a lot of things in your own lives, in your own life, and sometimes your own resources, because nobody really that much controls you in a very straight sense. You manage your time, you manage your resources. Yes, there are a lot of negatives, but I'm talking about some of the things that you would want to consider, the benefits, the good things about it, why you would want to build a business, and overlooking, or going over the other one to say that I don't want this good job, I want to focus on building a company. It's because you control your time, you control a lot of things within your domain. Yes, some things will control you, absolutely, but the basic things you would want to, if you want to wake up to 3 a.m., nobody can say stop. And if you want to sleep up to 10 a.m., it is your choice. Because if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you are left with a burden. And so you control a lot of the things around you, and particularly your time. So it may be one of the reasons why you would want to start your business. You may end up owning a big business. You may end up being somebody with a big company in your country. You may end up employing thousands of people. And it may be of that reason, just because you started that business, or you focus on building that company and not taking that job with good salary, just because of that. Maybe after 20 years, after 30 years, your company may be the biggest company in Africa, one of the best companies around the world. You may. Nobody knows. And nobody can say that you can be. Whatever company that you build, it may become a hugely successful company. So you may want to try and give it a fair shot. Who knows? Nobody knows. You may have the platform to influence people, at least the people who work with you and the people who you do business with, because the business will grow just because you employ a lot of people. You have an avenue, you have an opportunity, you have a platform that you will become somebody that would have access to influence at least the people who work with you, the people that you do business with your ideas, with your philosophies, with your love, with your kindness, with all the humanity that you have. And you may not have that opportunity, you may not have that chance, if you had not focused on building that business. So the business will provide you with a platform where you influence people, you know, and you would want to consider, or you would want to look at influencing people in a good sense, not in a bad sense. So it becomes a platform, becomes a tool that you can use to influence others, and shape and sometimes give hope to people. Sometimes become an inspiration to people. Sometimes people will just look at you and maybe organize their lives just because you built that business. If you had that job, maybe you will not have the same kind of people that the business brought. Maybe you will not have the same kind of influence on the people that the partners, the suppliers, the people that you interact with, just because you built that business. So it is one of the reasons, one of the opportunities, one of the benefits that building a business can give you. And you can make a huge contribution, with the product that you're offering, the services that you're offering. You can make a huge contribution to the building of our country and to the building of our economy, to the building of our continent. If you look at people who like Dangote, people who have built huge businesses on the continent, they are serious people who are contributing to the development of our continent. And who knows, your company will become, or may even be playing the same role in the kind of level that you have, the kind of people that you have employed. In a way, you are helping to contribute to the building of our continent, in creating prosperity for our continent. So these are some of the things that you may want to consider. Not everything will be just your personal interest. A lot of it will go beyond your personal interest. A lot of it will be the lives that you encounter, the dreams that you see fulfilled because you started that business. When, let's say, you start a business and you employ somebody and they are taking care of their children, sometimes maybe they will be able to do that easier because they had a place that they are working, and possibly maybe you are paying them good salary, and so they can take care of their family. That same person without a job may be living in worry of not being able to take care of the family. So these are some of the things that you would want to look at and think when you are building a business. And some of those thoughts come through your mind, that why worry so much when others are taking fat salaries in all these companies, and you go around saying that you want to build a business? Why worry when your friends come around with this kind of argument, intelligent debate? When your mother calls you to give you this kind of point, maybe even your children or your wife or your husband tries to talk you out of your dream, tries to tell you that why do you go through this kind of stress? Why the need? Why? Why is your fellow classmates, your fellow your colleagues, those of your own age, are taking big money? You are worrying yourself to say that you want to build a business. You want to build a business. You should have strong argument. Not the ones that you even answer people, but the one that you self-talk. The ones that you are telling yourself every day. They are more powerful than the one that your friends are telling you. They are more powerful than the ones that everybody around you is telling you. The things that you say to yourself, they are far more powerful than what you hear from outside. So you would want to build arguments, you would want to build principles, you would want to build persuasions, you would want to have things that you live by when things are good or even when things are not so good. And some of these things will get you going because you know that what you're doing serves a good purpose. But if they are weak, if the whys are weak, if your reasons are weak, if what you see are weak, any little thing will make you disturb because you did not have strong reasons why you would want to build that business when there is a place that you can get a good job. And one of the clarities that you probably would have to have is that the job and the business are different. The one with a job with a fat salary and the one who is building a business with a dream are not in the same boat. One is working and they get paid, which is good if that is what they want to do with their lives. But if you want to build a business, that you cannot look yourself and compare yourself with the other one who works to be paid. Your dream, your foundation, your aspirations, your convictions, your persuasions must be different from the other person. And they have to be strong and they have to be that much sound within you and even in sharing those with the people that you know. Because if you don't work with them, that's why you see people, sometimes they even build companies that make huge revenues. And then you see that the substance they didn't develop. The rare substance, the personal convictions, the ideologies, the philosophies behind why they built that business, they did not develop because their concentration was only on maybe the money. Maybe the money. And whoever knows, the other reason is that your company may end up making you very rich. It may end up creating a lot of prosperity for you. And, it may end up being the one thing that you bequeath to your children. It's because when you build it, you have built it. You have built it. You can leave it for others if they so want. If you work somewhere and you're leaving, you leave just as you came. When you're building businesses, pay a chance. You'll be able to build a very successful, prosperous business that you can leave it for the next generation. And maybe your name may even be there when you are far gone. Maybe 4 generations after you, 5 generations after you, 10 generations after you will come and they will name you as the founder of that business, the founder of that company. And you may have been the one who built it, decided to build that company. And so, my name is Kwabena. I am talking about why build a company when you can have a good job with all the benefits. But the thing about the business is that usually most of us will start in the startup state. When you are starting in the startup state, it doesn't look palatable. It doesn't look nice. The other guy with a fast salary will, from day one, look like very much successful, very much lucky and fortunate. You may have a house that the employment may come with all those kind of things. And you may not even be knowing what you're doing. So how do you say that I want to build a business than opting for the other one, which is ready job with fat salary? Or sometimes you may even be working and the desire becomes so strong that I would want to build my own business. You must have persuasion. You must have convictions. You must have reasons why you would want to leave that job with a big salary and you will be the one to start a company. you must know that maybe it's a passion, maybe it's a purpose for you, maybe it's where you get to express your talent. Maybe it will be the best place that you extend your influence. Is it to be a best place where you would want to let others know that you also came to live on this earth? There is freedom with it. There's freedom, there's flexibility with building your company. There is a lot, enormous pressure that's there. And we all know that. There are a lot of complications and difficulties. But there's also freedom. The freedom to be living out of your heart. The freedom to be living on your own terms. Those cannot be neglected. Even when the business is still at the budding state, when the business is still developing, you still have that freedom of choice. Freedom trying to live your own life according to your own terms, and you're not holding anybody responsible for the results. Because you cannot go and blame anybody when it doesn't work. And that is the essence of freedom. And when you're free, you become responsible. But that's what it means. There is responsibility. And that is something that comes with you trying to build a company. You live life and freedom. There are people who every day, they say that Monday morning they don't like. Why they don't like is because Monday morning they are going to a place of work. And because they don't like the work, they feel like they are engaged. There are people like that. There are a lot of people like that. That's why they say that thank God it's Friday. Thank God is something. I don't get up to thank God because it's Friday. No. I know I don't dread Monday morning. Why? Because that's not the pattern that I took. So the pattern that I took, you can work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, every day. And it could be 3 p.m., 3 a.m., 4 p.m., 4 a.m. Because there is that thing of freedom. And the highest of freedom is the freedom to choose your destiny, to live your life out of your inner being, to live your dreams and your aspirations, to live from within, to live from the things that when you're a child you wanted to live from. That is what business probably will give to you. You get to live out of your heart. There is freedom. Yes, there are challenges, there are troubles, there are difficulties, but those are not the ones that we are talking about. We are talking about the need to build that company. I'm not saying that I will not take that job or I will leave that good job with good salary. You must have strong ideas, and one of it is freedom. You get to express your life in freedom. You don't feel like you're caged. You don't feel like you're disturbed. Even sometimes in the middle of all the troubles and the noise, you still are very much calm. And you connect with him because you are living. You know that you are responsible for this. You are the last stop. If you don't make that choice, nobody else will make that choice for you. That is freedom. That is freedom. And the fact that some people look up to you for you to make it right is also humbling. That is also part of the freedom. There's satisfaction of you seeing the idea that you started. I said it before. There's so much joy to see that this idea that we sat down to discuss has now become a big business, or it has become a business that people are paying for, that people have been employed, and they don't even have a clue how we put this business together. The idea, the things that you scripted in our diaries has become, those things have become a business. It's satisfactory. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. And the business that you start may also give you some kind of opportunity to become somebody that people will seek some kind of information, some kind of ideas from, because you started that business. And you are rare people who develop that kind of heart to start businesses and go into it fully. You are one of a kind. You're few. Not many people will even dream of starting business and going into it fully. So you are the kind of people that the continent needs. You're the kind of people that the Africa needs, to create value, to create prosperity, to create opportunities, to create industries for our continent. So it could be a good motivating factor if you so much believe in our country, if you believe in our continent. It could be a good motivating factor, and you get to control a lot of the resources in your life as well, especially your time. You control them. Does that mean that some people won't control it? Some people will control it, but at least the little ones you can choose. And you don't know what company, the company that you have started, the business that you have started, you don't know what it can become. You never know. It can increase exponentially, unpredictably. You may not know. You may not have any idea what will come up just because you focus on building a business than taking a job with fat salary, which everybody around you will convince you to take anyway. Because that's the language a lot of people know. Most people don't know the other language of you saying that I want to go through this kind of thing to build a business. Most people don't know that. So the one that is very much obvious is the one that is ready. And the job is ready with fat salary. The business is not ready. You are cooking it. The job is ready. You just come and eat, work, and they pay you. The business, you have to go and try. And you may even fail. But you must have strong persuasions, strong ideas, strong mantras to keep going. And the business could give you an avenue, an opportunity to become an influencer, to become somebody who get to meet people, train, whether they are your employees or whoever, just because that business is being built, just because you started that business. It gives you a platform, gives you opportunity for you to influence people and share, become kind, share love, share resources, share time with people. And sometimes, and a lot of the times, you get to live and spend your days with people that you love because you set that business. Because you set that business, you decide to choose whoever you want to employ. And one of the best advantages where you try to build a team that you so much are happy to get up every day to go to work with. Not everybody gets that opportunity. Sometimes even if they have fat salaries, because they did not have the power to choose whoever works there. Business has that kind of leverage that especially if you're able to build it and build it well. So you get to work with people that you so much care about, like the people that we work with, the girls that we work with, the boys that we work with. If they are so much good-hearted, after a while, those who stay for long, you get to love them. These are people that you may never have met, but now you are family, you are friends. Now their pain get to you, their joy is your joy. Because you just have that heart. Why? At the beginning, it's like that. If the business is not employing, even if it employs a lot of people, at the beginning you still get to form a lot of bonds, and it is you get to meet people. So depending on the number of people that you have employed, your network continue to expand. You get opportunity to build network and relationship with people that become your partners, become your suppliers, become people that they give you projects, they buy from you, just because of the business. And it's that much exciting for you to get that, and you can influence a lot of people. Even if it's one person that you influence because of the business, you would do, or you would have done a great job. Not just paying salary, but sometimes getting to talk with people, share their story, be part of people's lives, and being as human as you can be. It's because of the business. It's because you put that business together. It's because you're building that business. So it's joyous, and it could be the fact that you decided to build a business, and that is a platform that you have had where lives that are so much dear get to come to work with you, and some of them a lifetime. You'll be somebody who will affect them, affect their mind, affect their heart, sometimes even help them with career path, sometimes even help some of them to start their own businesses, just because. Sometimes even help some of them to overcome poverty, become the first in their families, become very prominent in their families, just because you started that business. And once you started that business, now they have come to work with you. People who never have even thought of themselves being successful or being great at something, they may never have thought of themselves as confident, and they may never have been trained to believe in themselves. And now they get to work with you, and they see life from a whole different point of view, for a whole different world. Now, figures don't shake them. People who are afraid of 10,000 Ghana cedis, now they are not afraid of 100,000. They are not afraid of 10 million, just because they got the opportunity to be around a great person. So it's a platform. It can be a huge platform where you influence a lot of people. And people who are doing big figures, they are impacting and shaping lives and changing destinies just because of the business that they built. There's not that much that you can get if you only work to get a monthly salary. There's not much. It's just the salary that they will get. But if you know your whys while you're building your businesses, you leave a great mark and affect the most precious element on this earth, which is lives. And if Africa needs anything more than people who have the ability to create businesses, I don't know, because they say that one of our greatest threats as a continent is the unemployment among the people who are young. And no matter what governments are doing, the core duty of a government in a free market is not a great job. It's to help the people who have the ability to create jobs to create them. And so you may end up making a huge contribution to the development of our country, to the development of our continent, just because you decided to build a business, focus on building a business. So you never know. You never know at all what business, that business that you're building, you never know where it will lead to. All around the world, people began businesses, they didn't know what they were doing. They began with ideas, began with metal piece, they began with some things that they didn't know what they were doing. And eventually those businesses happened to stay for years, for centuries, and change the course of destiny because they started businesses. There are a lot of businesses that you can mention around the world which have changed technology. They have changed the way we live, the way we eat, the way we dress. There are huge businesses around the world, even some of them in our country. Why? It's because somebody else decided to build that business other than just taking a job with good salary. So it is your mind, it's the way you look at issues, and you can keep going if you build these things strongly. If you focus on building them and you build them well, you become huge. And until you have these kind of ideologies uh, strongly established in you, you will worry when you take this part of trying to build a business over getting a good job, because the opportunities will come even as you continue to build your business. There will be a lot of offers that will come along where you will double look at your business and say that, oh, maybe let me go and take that job. But if you continue to develop yourself, if you continue to expand your mind, expand your life, expand your territory, and move around and get new information, new knowledge, new exposure, you will build and you will build and you will build and you will build and you become strong and expert at what you do. And there will be explosion just because you stay to building it. They're going to look for a good job with fat salary. So thank you very much for watching, Mr. Anthony. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you for